Good day, we are the St. Miguel group and we are to tackle the social realities during his time and his respective plan of actions.
Lack of quality education. In his life, St. Cordero was able to identify the lack of quality education for the poor in his home country of Ecuador. He indicated the separation between the rich and the poor when it comes to education, and he sought out to change this by becoming a teacher. He started publishing his own school textbooks, which included one for the teaching of Spanish, as well as odes and discourses on teaching methods. The government adopted some of his textbooks that were circulated across all schools. He also did research and authored books on literature and linguistics, which earned him membership in the Ecuadorian Academy of Letters in 1892, followed by the Academies of Spain, France, and Venezuela. As a result of his high-standing educational affairs, he was elected to educational academies in his home in 1892, as well as France and Venezuela. He conducted religious retreats and also helped to prepare children for their first communion.
So how did St. Miguel respond to the social issue of lack of education? St. Miguel Cordero has realized his vocation to be an educator at a young age because of the contact and daily conversations he had with his teachers. He was able to understand the importance of education and decided to dedicate himself on being an educator. With the issue on the lack of education, he used his extraordinary intelligence and great ability to work in order to promote education as well as contribute knowledge as an educator, researcher, and writer to other people around him.
Where St. Miguel Cordero was from, he took it upon himself to give education to those who needed it in Ecuador. All the while, he remained in commitment to being a Lasallian brother and worked as a teacher for a large part of his life. He sacrificed to give teaching high priority in his life as efforts were expended and time set aside for his vocation. A well-known member in Academy and someone who spreads the good word of God, he wanted to instill his teachings into anyone he would bestow knowledge upon.
One of the social issues faced by St. Miguel Cordero is that he lacked the support from his family. As soon as St. Miguel Cordero entered the Christian Brothers High School, he immediately felt the great longing of becoming a part of the Christian Brothers, also known as the LaSalle Brothers. However, his family, especially his father, made strong objections and wanted him to join a more prestigious, more established religious order. His family was very rich and influential, which is why they opposed him to join the Christian Brothers, as living a religious life means living very poorly. They instead tried to change his mind by making him transfer to another school. Since he got sick, his family finally allowed him to return to Christian Brothers, but his relationship between his father remained tense for most of his years as a brother in the institute.
After entering the Christian Brothers at age 14, Miguel was the first Ecuadorian to join the institute. He was well educated and talented. At the age of 15, Miguel began teaching Spanish and religion. He distinguished himself as a dedicated and capable teacher. He always remained committed to continuing his own education and eventually learning to speak several languages.
Next, a general strike broke out. Saint Cordero was working in Barcelona when the time of the general strike broke out. Everything was a disaster, most especially for churches and religious places because these were all being burned down. It was a good thing that Saint Cordero and the brothers acted fast. They all managed to evacuate the church to the safety of Barcelona across the bay. He also made a pilgrimage to the shrine of Our Lady of the Pillar at Zaragoza. After the events of Barcelona, Saint Cordero developed a sickness called pneumonia. This led to his passing in 1910. The country was very devastated and a conviction grew for him to become the first saint of the country.
As for the virtues of the saint, we believe that he did not think or feel that his disability was an excuse to not achieve his calling. Saint Miguel Febres Cordero embodied most of the Lasallian virtues and core values. Amongst the virtues, we can clearly see that he has shown zealousness, generosity, and vigilance. For the first two, he continued to live his life as a teacher and a Lasallian brother. At the same time, he devoted his time and efforts into teaching and used his platform to teach the ways of God and influence as many students as possible. And for vigilance, despite his health problems, he never gave up on teaching every student. He did what he can and still strived to be the best educator that there was before his time was up.